Hey guys, I'm Carey Pena and welcome to In the Moment, our weekly talk show focused on living your best life in the now. I am here with my co-host Gelie Akhenblit, who's the founder of Networking Phoenix, and Zenobia Mertel, who is a life and style columnist for InspiredMedia360.com. And in the moment with us today, the man, the myth, the legend, our guest co-host Bobb Cooper, who is the artistic director at Valley Youth Theater and mentor to Oscar-winning actress Emma Stone. You're like the most popular guy around town now.
It's exciting. It's thrilling.
I can't wait to delve a little deeper about Oscar night and when you heard your name called up on stage, and we have an amazing picture to show of you in that moment, which I, of course, was trolling social media, looking all over Facebook for that one picture, and it's amazing. Also ahead in the next 20 minutes, Gelie is talking to us about how to make a change in your career if that's really what you want to do. And you kind of lay out 3 steps that will assist folks in doing that to find more joy in their life. Zenobia is filling us in on a big music event coming up called Rock the District. That's this is super cool, Z. I can't wait to hear more about this. We love anything that has to do with music and arts. And Coach Dar, the Pay It Forward ambassador, is talking to us today about changing how you see things to let more light shine in your world. So we have a lot of good stuff on the show today, but first, let's talk about the art of forgiveness. Let's stay on the Oscar theme for a moment here. So obviously the Oscars ended in dramatic, chaotic fashion. What was your reaction at the end there?
Well, we had an Oscar party at the theater, so we had over 100 people. And when they announced La La Land for Best Picture, we were just screaming and cheering and hugging. And then looking at the screen, something just didn't seem right, and then it all went to silence.
It was chaos.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about how this producer, Jordan Horowitz, handled this moment. Because in chaos, you have a couple of choices. You can sort of back away from the situation because you don't want to take the blame, or you can kind of just get in front of it. And I thought what he did was just get in front of it and just show the world, like, this is what's happening, being very transparent. So the Washington Post ran an editorial, and it says basically that Jordan Horowitz is the truth teller we need right now. They say, quote, "This kind of behavior shouldn't be all that exceptional, but truth has been hard to come by lately. When the truth is inconvenient, a lot of people spin it or bend it to their will, but that apparently is not Horowitz's style." So let's talk about grace under pressure. Bobb, what was your reaction to how he handled that, and what do you think that can teach us?
I think it's accountability, essentially. You know, something went wrong, and you can shy away from it, like you said, or you can just be accountable for it and then move on and accept it and move on. And that's what we teach young people at Valley Youth Theater every day.
Yeah, because you guys do live performances and things go wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. And you just got to move on.
Z, what was your takeaway?
Well, I thought everybody makes mistakes, and forgiveness is such a humanistic quality that makes us so real. When I saw that, I thought, oh my gosh, the first thing I would do is, just apologize, move on. And I always think of it from a kid perspective too, because kids are watching us. And as they grow and get into work and play and all these different things, you want them to have that also, the ability to forgive, forget, and move on.
And quickly, Gelie, I want to get your input because you coach business leaders. So how do we apply this lesson in the business world?
Well, what I tell people is don't give somebody else any ammunition. So if you mess up, you own it right away. You say the truth. So the other party, well, they're not going to be able to say anything about it. And that's exactly what happened here. It was completely owned. That was it. It was owned. Now we all know what happened. Let's move on.
Yeah, because if they wouldn't have shown that card on, I think there would have been tons of conspiracy theories about what movie really was the winner there.
Oh, yeah.
Had they not taken that card right then and said, here it is, you can see the card. So let's talk about the Oscars. So you have been coaching Emma Stone. She was with Valley Youth Theater for how many years?
She was with us for 4 years, from the 2000 until 2004. From the time she was 11 years old till she was 14, to just before she moved to Hollywood.
So first, let me get your reaction when her name was announced as the best actress of the year.
It was, I know the moments leading up to that, where my heart was pounding, and you 50-50 chance. Are they going to say her name or are they not going to say her name? And when they said her name, it just, I don't know, she said something about when the blood comes back to her body or whatever. I felt the same way. It was like, wow, that was incredible. And so happy for her. She has worked hard. She has been focused, and really, she's such a good human being. And to see that, that happened for her was extraordinary.
And so when you heard your name, what was that like?
That was a surreal moment.
Yeah.
I've been watching the Academy Awards since as long as I can remember, and thinking about the names on there and people saying thank you to different people. And I was an actor in my young age, and I had dreams of actually being on the Academy Awards. So to have my name said by her in an acceptance speech touched my soul, for one, that she thought enough of me and her time with Valley Youth Theater to actually include us in such a precious moment in her life was extraordinary, and I'm forever humble.
What you have accomplished at Valley Youth Theater is extraordinary, but it's not, I mean, you're up against a lot of tough times. Always, searching for new funding and encouraging people to come down and support kids who are part of the theater. When you hear your name called out by Emma Stone, who wins an Academy Award, does it sort of rush over you that I'm doing what I was meant to do? Even all those hard times pay, and that frustration, it pays off.
It does. And something like this happening with Emma Stone, who is such a voice to the community, to the nation, to the world, to give back to a place that meant something was so important to her, is huge for us. And we're so thrilled that. And we hope that it'll bring more attention to Valley Youth Theater, because it isn't easy. It hasn't been easy, especially for some reason, being a youth theater in town, you don't get the respect that you should. We pride our major institutions and organizations, but Valley Youth Theater is a force to be reckoned with. We have made change. We impact children's lives each and every day in a dramatic way, and not just movie stars like Emma Stone, but police officers. Tyler Service, who's a VYT alum, puts his life on the line for us each and every day, and Chandler is a police officer.
Yeah.
We have many others.
I want to ask you quickly about your thoughts, perhaps your fears about what might be to come for the arts community. There is some talk that funding will be slashed for organizations like yours across the country, that the National Endowments for the Arts could lose funding. How do you feel about that?
That's frightening. Imagine a world without art. And art is in so many things that we just don't even think of. And the National Endowment for the Arts does so much for the United States and for arts institutions and artists. I mean, the gamut. To pull that funding makes no sense. It really, really doesn't. So you can put money somewhere else. This is an important piece. It makes our world whole. And it's so important. And to pull that funding would be a tragedy. And so many organizations depend on it. So many artists depend on it. It would be a great loss for the United States.
I appreciate you sharing your story so openly with us today. And a big part of your story is staying true to your dream. And we're going to segue now into Gelie's segment, and we're going to thrive with her, because what you're talking about today really goes along those lines, Gel, and talking about how if you are not in the right career, Bobb found his place, right? Yes. It's your people, it's where you are at home. But not everyone is as fortunate as he is. So if you're in a career or a job that you know that that's not your heart, what do you do?
That is a great question, and that's something that comes up so often, because for some of us, like Bobb, and for myself, and for you, we know our passions and we can follow them, but what ends up happening is people wake up one day, they're in this career that they've been doing for a long time, and they don't want to do it anymore. And it's not even so much fear that holds them back, but they don't even know what they're going to do if they're going to do something else, right? So what I want to talk about is that this is how, let me set you on the path of discovery. You need to rediscover yourself. You need to find out what your likes and dislikes are. You just may not know what your passion is. So one of the things I tell people is go talk to strangers. Just go surround yourself with other kinds of people, like different. You need something very different. You can do this at networking events, and if anyone's been following this show, they know that I'm big into networking. It is such a great place to talk to complete strangers, and you can tell them whatever story you want to tell them, okay? And I'm not saying go and start having multiple personalities, but for instance, when I was discovering...
That sounds fun.
It is. It's actually a lot of fun. But when I was discovering what I wanted to do when I moved from my career, I would go to networking events and literally just talk to people, and tell them my ideas, and this is what I think I want to do. And what ends up happening is you hear yourself talk, and as you hear yourself talk, you start to resonate with what sounds good, what doesn't sound good. And this is part of the discovery process, because you're not going to wake up one day and know what to change your career to. I mean, it could happen, but for those of us that, can't do it, this is one of the ways. Now, the other thing is, if you don't want to do networking events, you can find a new hobby. And this happens a lot of times when people go through breakups, right? They're going through the self-discovery. They want to do something else. This is very similar concept. Go find a new hobby. Maybe even switch studios. Let's say you go to one yoga studio, go to another. The reason being is you need to surround yourself with other people. You start making different friends. You start seeing how other people live their lives, right? Because when you're stuck in a career for a long time, you're stuck almost in a rut of everybody being the same around you. Your family and your friends, they love you, but they may not be able to guide you in this next step. This is why other people make a difference.
15 seconds left in this seg, Gal. So let's go to the last one, because I love this one. Look for people, not for jobs.
Look for people, not for jobs. Again, because when you're looking to change careers, it's going to be people that are going to help you get you there, because they're going to have to vouch for you that you are actually capable of changing careers. So surround yourself with different people. So networking, find new hobbies, and surround yourself with people.
And I don't want to go too far over time, because Deanna will kill me. She's like, stay on time today with your show. But I see you shaking your head. Do those things resonate?
Absolutely.
Just about living your best life?
Absolutely. Live your best life. And also, maybe you don't have to make a complete career change. Is there something in the industry you're in? Maybe there's something else that that can help you rise up to the level that you want to be.
Or find an outlet, because it strikes me that you say this great police officer who's also been part of Valley Youth Theater.
Absolutely.
A lot of people can do theater, music, things on the side to maybe complete the picture that makes you happier. Gil, great stuff. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now I want to share a story, guys, from my podcast, and I'm so glad to see that this story is getting a lot of traction online. I have a podcast, for those of you who don't know, Carey Pena Reports, and on that show I sit down with people who have highly inspirational stories to share. So recently I talked to a gentleman who's well known in the Valley. He is a host for KTAR. His name is Bruce St. James, and he sat down with me and he really opened up about his struggle with depression. Here is some of what he had to say.
I remember seeing Terry Bradshaw, the Steelers championship Super Bowl winning quarterback, talk about being depressed and battling depression. And the more I saw people stand up and raise their hand and say, this has affected me, I thought, destigmatizing depression, mental illness, bipolar, any of these things, the more we can do to destigmatize it, the more people will feel comfortable coming forward and getting the help that they need. You don't have to be like this. It doesn't have to be like that. Tomorrow doesn't have to be worse than today. And it takes more of us speaking about it, where folks go, I would have never thought you were depressed, because I get that a lot from people.
Yeah. And you can see all of that interview. It's a really impactful interview at inspiredmedia360.com. Zenobia, just real quick, you texted me, and when you listened to that interview, you said that it brought you to tears.
It was so powerful. I mean, and if you don't know that industry or that particular ailment so well, or what people are going through, it's so good to share and just have that in your mind, in the back of your mind, that this is a real thing, and it truly knocks people, and the power of getting back up. His story was so amazing.
And I give him a lot of credit, because I reached out to him. He put up a Facebook post, and I find so much information out about people on Facebook. I find it really telling, and people will let a little piece of their soul shine through. And I saw something he posted, and so I private messaged him, and I said, would you be willing to talk about this? And I give him a lot of credit, even though I don't think he necessarily wants it, but because it is brave to speak about an ailment like that, and he's doing it because he believes that it should not be stigmatized. And so I really encourage people, if you have 15 minutes that you can carve out, to go and listen to that interview. And now it is time for our Vibe segment, and it's perfect that you're on today, Bob, because we're talking about a music festival that's coming up. We love music and the arts, and Z, you're going to be the MC for Rock the District. And before you tell us about it, let's listen to a little clip.
Going through a party at the county jail. The prison man was there, they began to wail. The barrel jumping and the joint began to swing. You should have knocked out jail, but sing, let's roll.
So Zenobia, this is all focused on young artists, right?
It is, exactly. It's a show. It's a rock show. They have different genres of music. I was asked to MC it, which is so perfect because I'm a festival girl, and this kicks off the music festival season, really. And so it's a bunch of acts from around the valley. They had to audition to be on this show, and it's called Rock the District. It's in its 8th year. The best part about it is it's a fundraiser. It's a good time. They're going to have an auction and raffle, and big supporters, community supporters, really come out to support this cause. The money raised goes to the Cave Creek Unified School District, and it's helping to fund areas in the arts that are so dramatically cut. They don't have all the funding they need for music and the plays, and it also benefits different education programs there. So what they do is they have this show. The money raised goes to grants that teachers maybe apply for. And then when the grants are chosen and they give the money out, they go in such a big way and surprise these teachers who are in the classrooms that know they know what these kids need. Like if they need an extra guitar or they don't have a pedal for their drum kit, they apply for this. And if they are awarded this grant, this volunteer group that is part of the school district goes in with balloons and vans, and they make it such a big deal. They make it so special. It is such a cool project. I'm so excited to be a part of it.
I can't wait to get the download next week. And Bob, if you could speak quickly to the fact that psychologically, how much do you think it helps kids who are able to access music lessons and theater lessons in schools?
Oh, it's dramatic.
Especially in lower income schools.
It's dramatic. I mean, there have been so many studies that show how arts impact academics, and without the two, it just really doesn't work. And a child can find themselves through music, through art, through dance, through theater. They can find who they are. And once they find who they are, they can apply that so much more to the academics and become a whole person.
All right, now we're going to get to a little Wednesday wisdom with one of our faves, a contributor that we love, Coach Dar. She is back today, and she's talking about finding joy, rain or shine.
Hey everyone, it's Coach Dar. Thanks for watching. I wanted to share another quick video on a post I put up today. And it's an umbrella, and there's rays of light coming through. And here in Arizona, we're getting a ton of rain. And it just was a metaphor for me to think of how sometimes life can feel so dark and gloomy, but there's always a way. There's always light. You just have to find it. And then people ask me all the time, how are you so happy and positive with all that's happening in the world? And I thought, how could I not be? What if we're the only ray of light that someone ever sees? What if we're the only hope, the only chance for laughter and joy and warmth and feel like a warm hug? What if we're the only ones? So often when we go out and we spread love and more joy and more compassion, we get filled with it. So go be the light today. Share your light. And if this helps you, or it's going to help someone else, then pay it forward. Pay this inspiration forward. Raise the bar.
Now we're going to go out for lunch with Mom, and you said that you and your wife were watching the show and you liked this segment.
Oh, yeah, so
David Lux, he was telling me that his mom is now, she's becoming like a celebrity around town, because we feature her every week. So David and his mom go out to lunch every Saturday, and they give us a little restaurant review, if you will. David writes, Mama Lux and I went to Vovo Mina. It got a great review in Phoenix Magazine's Brunch Roundup this month. And the food looks really great, by the way. But the real adventure, he says, is when we walk through the Roosevelt District neighborhood right behind, and I found a cute lending library, and my mother found a payphone inside a house from 1914. And David says it was the most charming street and one of my favorite days out with Mom. So it's just the Roosevelt District, for those who have not really been down and spent some time, it's so cool.
It's great.
It's so much fun. Now we are going to go out with our intern. Kate is back. Kate Dalton with us today, and she is checking out Rusty's Angels, where they rescue older dogs and make sure that they are given the best possible quality of life. Take a look.
Hey Emily, so tell me about what is one of the dreams of Rusty's Angels Sanctuary.
Well, one of the things that makes us different from other rescues is we are building tiny houses for our senior dogs and our retired dogs to live in. And this is one of them that we built specifically for an older dog that has behavior issues. There's room for her and one other dog, and so they will retire here together in this house and live out the rest of their days in basically their own little apartment. So here's the inside. And that's Aston, and this is Bob. They're both going to spend the rest of their life here at the sanctuary. But each building has air conditioning, it has heat, it has music for them to be able to enjoy themselves and their own space to sleep and eat and just enjoy life.
So Rusty's Angels is holding their big fundraiser on Sunday called Sunday Fun Day. So you can find out more information by visiting their website. Bob, we want to thank you so much for being part of the show today and really lending your expertise and your love of the arts and culture. That is so much of what we care about on the show. Is there one thing that you can leave the viewers with about your journey to today now that you are like really hitting this high note?
Well, thank you first for having me on. This has been a pleasure, and it's been delightful to watch you all in the program. Before this, I would say just all the topics that were been talked about today. You know, self-talk is an important thing, and believing in yourself. And if you say nice things to yourself, you can expect people to say nice things back to you. If you treat yourself well, you can expect to be treated well. So it starts here, and I'm just so thankful to be here and that you lovely ladies do this wonderful program. It's so great to see positive news and positive things that actually can make an impact on our lives. So I thank you.
That's our mission. And by the way, when you talk to Emma, just tell her we said,
I'll do it.
I love
her
it.
dress.
She's so
She
great.
looks good.
And that is going to do it for us, guys. We want to thank you all so much for being with us in the moment, brought to you by Inspired Media 360. Listen, our mission every week is to motivate and inspire. You can go to inspiredmedia360.com to see all of our shows and to check out Z's column. She writes an amazing column called Z Life. And be sure to connect with us on Facebook and on YouTube at Inspired Media 360. Of course, if you'd like to contribute to the show, we're all ears. We'd love to hear from you. Life is short. Make sure you live in the moment. Take care.